Hello and welcome to the November Stage Directions Video Editor's Note. I'm Jacob Coakley, editor of Stage Directions magazine. I don't know if you can hear it, but there are nice crickets chirping outside. It's a beautiful evening here and I hope it's just as nice where you are. My regular Ed Note this month turned into a MASH note for theater road trips and how much fun it is to go travel to see a show sometimes. I'd love it if you could share with me some of your fun theater road trips you've taken in the comments here or as a reply on YouTube. But the other thing I want to talk about is the other side of this theme of how far will you go. We're told that something like 99% of equity actors are unemployed. The fact that playwrights can't make a living wage at their chosen profession has been a huge topic of discussion in theater the past few years. And on Twitter, I just started following the tweets of a stagehand who's trying to unionize his shop, thanks in part to unsafe working conditions and pay cuts from management. My point is that if you want to make it in theater, you have to really, really want it. You have to keep going, not only after your parents or your loved ones say that you should stop or that you should do something more responsible with your life. You have to be willing to keep going when you are telling yourself that you should give up and do something more responsible with your life. And that's hard. It's hard to keep going on with the work with little reward. It's hard to come home from your day job that you took just to pay the bills and then go create work in the evenings or on weekends, yet somehow you keep going. Theater constantly asks you, how far will you go? What are you willing to do? And you keep gutting it out and trying a little bit harder. But there's a flip side to this too. Because we've all been told, seemingly since the first time we stepped on stage, that we're going to have to sacrifice to make it in theater, that we're going to have to really, really want it, that we're going to have to give all this stuff up. Because we've been told this so much, it seems like it has become canon that we must do this. That if we don't, somehow we are false theater artists. We are perversely incentivized to sacrifice everything. We'll sacrifice everything to make theater because we've been told for years that we have to. How many years of unpaid internships would you take if it meant that you had just a slight chance of a job at the end of it? I know of theaters that are paying less now to their interns than they were 15 years ago when I was making the internship rounds. And believe me, it wasn't a lot then. There's a small theater company I know of that was recently turned down by Equity for a waiver. They were incensed. They thought they were giving equity actors opportunities. But the pay was just a nominal stipend. A very nominal stipend. And Equity wouldn't budge. It's our job, they said, to sometimes protect actors from themselves. And I thought about that. I thought about how maybe that's true. How maybe in our rush to be a part of all this, we let people take advantage of us. We let institutions take advantage of us because we're so desperate to be a part of this. We're so desperate to succeed at this. I'm not saying everybody does. I'm not saying every institution does. But I am saying it does happen. And I don't think that's right. I'm not saying you don't have to make sacrifices to make theater. But I am saying that maybe we need to think about those sacrifices and think about whether or not we're getting something in return. Which brings it all back to the question, what are you willing to do? How far will you go?